Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever you are and whatever you are doing. This is Dr. Luther Smith, and welcome to another edition of Basic Bible Study Tools. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. Just to let you know, if you have not downloaded the paper that has Ephesians chapter 1 verses 1 to 10, you can go down to the description box below and download the worksheet and follow along with us and all the other previous episodes that we have done so far. So let's go to Ephesians chapter 1. Obviously, we have a new medium. I don't have a camera over filming my worksheet. So we're on the computer today because we're going to talk a little bit about a resource that I use that I frequent very often, and that is very, very helpful. This is blueletterbible.org, and they have this resource is just fantastic. I use this. I know other believers who are studying the scriptures that use this. This is a fantastic resource for several reasons. One is they have devotionals and products and things that they sell here, helps and guides and stuff like that. So that's one thing. Another helpful thing is if you come up here and click on here, there are many resources here that you can kind of look at the different word usages in the different versions. We're not going to do that for this episode. We'll probably tackle that at another episode. But in either event, it is good for another reason. So let's say you're reading the Ephesians chapter 1 verses 1 to 10 for the gazillionth time, right? And you get to a verse that is very curious. It has a curious word in it. Let's say you get to verse 7 and you go, redemption. Now, I've heard that word before, but I don't really know what that word means. I don't really know the fullness of that word. So, one of the things I want you to do is I want you to begin to start looking up words that that are very unclear, that are fuzzy. But I don't want you to look them up in the English language or using an English dictionary. And let me tell you why. Because the Bible originally was not written in English. It was written in Greek for the New Testament, in Aramaic, and Hebrew for the Old Testament. Okay, so I want you to get used to looking up words in the original language. Now again, don't get scared, all right? We all have to start somewhere, and this is what this resource, this good resource, this Blue Letter Bible will help you with. So you'll go over here to Tools, okay? See this box? You'll hover over this box, and then there will be a drop-down menu, multicolored, and you're going to go to Interlinear, and click on that, and it'll open up another box. Now up here at the top is, again, don't get scared, up here at the top is this verse in English. This is the Greek text. And as a matter of fact, if you hover over this text, it'll actually give you a box where you have the form, whether it's a verb, noun, adjective, adverb. It has the tense form. It has if whether or not it's indicative, or which tells you the reality, or an imperative, which is a command. It'll tell you all that information that you need. On this side, we have the English, right? So in him, we have the redemption through his blood. So we have that, which we just read. We have the Strong's, which is essentially a classification of the Greek word. It's just a classification system. We have the Greek word itself. And then we have the transliterated form, or basically the pronunciation. And then if you really want to get fancy with it, you click on this and it'll actually say it out loud. Okay, the word itself, which is kind of fun. So let's go and click on redemption. This is the one that we're very curious of. We'll click on this and it'll open up another box. Okay, this is the word itself in the Greek language, apolotrusis. And here's the transliterated word. Here is the pronunciation, apolutrosis. Here is the parts of speech. It is a feminine noun. That doesn't mean that the word is a girl. That's just the part of speech it is. There's feminine, masculine and neuter. Okay. And then you have the etymology, the root word, and we see that from here it's a compound word. It comes from apo and lutron. If you come down here, we have the biblical usage, which gives us essentially the definition of what the word means in the Greek language. It means a releasing effected by payment or ransom, redemption, deliverance, or liberation procured by payment of a ransom. So we have several different definitions here, depending on the context and of the word itself. And here we have the lexicon of how the word is used and how it's described in the different various verses that it's found in. And down here, which is so special, is the concordance. The concordance is the frequency of how the Greek word is used and where it's used. So we can see it's used in Luke 21:28. We see it's used in Romans, and being justified as a gift by his grace through the redemption. We see it in Romans 8:23, 1 Corinthians, Ephesians, of course, Colossians, and Hebrews. So we see it's used 10 times in the NASB, right, which is what I'm using right now. So this is helpful in a couple of ways. One, it brings clarity to a definition, and it shows the way that the word is used, and it shows the frequency of how the word is used in the particular text. It helps give you greater clarity, right? So we know that this word is used essentially as a payment of a ransom, right? That God, by the blood of Christ, purchased men with his blood. There it is. It's kind of neat. So let's say you're going through this and you're doing your homework and everything, and you want to get a little deeper into the Greek. Well, there's a couple of resources I want you to pay attention to. First of all, this one is called Basics of Biblical Greek Grammar. This is by William D. Muntz. I use this. As a matter of fact, I learned Greek and the forms and the tenses and all that from this book. I worked with this book for a period of over 2 years. So this is really helpful. Now, the caveat is that this is 12 feet stuff. So this is not kiddie pool, right? So if you want to get a little deeper, let's say you have a homeschool student, or you want to learn these forms a little bit more, I would encourage you to get this. Okay. Now let's say you're going, Dr. Smith, this is great, but I just want 2 feet deep kiddie pool stuff. Right? I'm not down for this. Maybe we'll do the 12 feet later on, but I want the 2 feet. Well, here's a resource for you. This is by the same author, William D. Muntz, and it's called Greek for the Rest of Us. This is just taking the basics of this book and boiling it down even more to its simplest parts. What you really, really need to know to get a basic understanding of biblical Greek. So this one is 12 feet deep. This one is 2 feet deep. So if you want to go a little deeper than 2 feet, then pick up the Basics of Biblical Greek Grammar. But if you want to go just 2 feet, kind of wade in the water, so to speak, pick up Greek for the Rest of Us. Okay? Now, a couple of things to note here. There's some things I want you just to pay attention to. Okay, some things to note. One is a word may have different meaning depending on the context. So in our language, I love my wife and I love chocolate cake are 2 different loves, right? Even though I'm using the same word, the context is different. You have to consider that when you're looking at the original language. So make sure that when you're doing this, you're looking at the context of your verse too, and how it fits into the overall scheme of the context itself. And that's going to take some doing. So take your time with it, be patient, but make sure that you always consider the context. It's very important. One, utilize the technology. There's so much technology out there. Some of it you can pay for, like Logos and Accordance. Those resources, some of them cost more than others. And you have this free resource here, which is run by donations. People have spent lots of time, sweat, blood, tears to create technology that would help us who want to understand this a little more, but not have all the complications that go along with it. So utilize the technology. It's very helpful. Second, you can learn it. Don't say you cannot, especially with the technology now. Even 30 years ago, you had Greek students with papers upon papers memorizing declensions and forms and noun forms and verb forms and all of these things. You don't need to do that anymore. Technology has made it so easy and so convenient for people to learn Greek and Hebrew in the comfort of their own home. There are cards and flashcards and YouTube videos that can help you with these. It's just a fantastic. You can learn it. Now, if you're older, it may take some time, a little bit more time, but you can still learn it. And again, the more that you are in the text, the easier it becomes. And that leads me to my fourth point: is you won't get comfortable with it unless you expose yourself to it. Practice, 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 and more practice. The more time that you spend in the text, digging, even if you don't know it, just jump in and just and look at it. The more time you spend in the text, the more time you spend studying it, looking at YouTube videos, buying the resources that I mentioned, and working through those. There's a workbook that goes along with both of those books, I believe. I know for the grammar one, there is a workbook for sure, because I have it. But go in there and just do it. From time to time, I go through my workbooks and translate. Whenever I do work and speak, I print it out and translate from the as much as I can from the original language, because I want to keep that up. Practice, practice, practice. It's very important. So, to sum up, this is the homework that you guys have. Take 5 words that you find very curious, 5 words that you're interested in studying, and go and explore using Blue Letter Bible or any other resource that you choose. There are many others out there. And spend time exploring the original language with the 5 of them. You can do more than 5, which I would highly encourage. But you can choose just 5, and choose a couple of easy ones, or that you think, there's really no reference, but choose, just 5 and just explore and see what you find. And again, you'll be amazed. The more that you spend time doing it, the more comfortable you become with it. Okay? So that's your homework. 5 words from Ephesians 1. Chapter 1, verses 1 to 10, and look at the original language using Blue Letter Bible or some other resource that you have. Looking at the original language and the form and the word usage and the frequency and the definitions, and have fun playing around with that. Well, this is Dr. Luther Smith with Basic Bible Study Tools. If you like this show and many others, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And share this with your friends who might think that this might be helpful to them in some way. And don't forget, too, to like and even comment down below, especially like it. If you like this, please, please, please hit that like button and please subscribe. This is Dr. Luther Smith, and I will catch you on the next episode. Grace and peace to all of you. Bye. Until next time.